Welcome back to a very special draft edition of Vikings Film Room with head coach Kevin O'Connell. And Coach, I think first for the fans to say, you guys looked at over 300 athletes who were worthy of being drafted, and you had to pick out which ones that you liked and didn't like and sort through them. And then there's the list of guys you would draft, and then it finally comes down to 5 guys, and it's really quite the exhaustive process. You don't just throw darts and pick guys. I mean, it's a lot of work.
No, and I want to highlight and compliment Kwesi, his staff, the scouts that are on the road year-round, basically, that really set the table for us as a coaching staff to join the evaluation process and be able to kind of connect the dots from a scheme standpoint, fit, role, responsibility that we see for these players. And that's really how you see guys have a great future here in Minnesota, is it all has to work from an evaluation top down to how we see them playing as Vikings, Pete. And I think we feel really good about the 5 guys we're going to talk about today and their fit, starting with the big fella, Donovan Jackson, a guy, you know, it's no secret we went into the offseason trying to, make our team maybe look a little different than we have since I've been here in the interior of our offensive line. And between what we did in free agency and then bringing Donovan here, with our first-round draft pick, there's a lot to really like about Donovan and how he projects in our offense. So as we take a look at this, there he is at the left guard spot. We know that he played left tackle as well, kind of out of a necessity for a team that didn't just finish 500, not a team, hey, I'm going to bump over and play left tackle in some no-name conference. I mean, this guy did it at the highest level of football in a quote-unquote contract year. I know it's hard to talk about that nowadays with NIL and these guys getting paid, but selfless, willing to do that. But I pulled some clips from kind of both spots today for us, people. Let's look at it. Let's dive into it. So when you watch this, just from a standpoint of pass pro, the starting point of just being able to block the guy across from you, his ability to cover up some of these monsters that play on the inside in the NFL, pretty good look at just the standard pass protection, what it may look like. In the next clip, we'll see right here, now we shift a little bit more to kind of that redirect. And as we start that again, I just want you to see something from a standpoint of athleticism. We know we'll see this in practice against our defense right here, but with this guy kind of retracing back, Donovan right here has to basically stop his momentum. He's got to protect, if you look at it, he's got to protect that inside gap. But now this guy potentially has him on his heels. Watch how he's able to anchor, transition, use his length, and then finish this down, strain through right there. That's a pretty clean pocket, and they end up with a big-time hit in the pass game because of it.
Ohio State didn't hesitate to turn the center the other way and put him on an island. That's what you saw play after play after play. And just a fantastic job of him in pass pro. The ability, the athleticism to set his anchor and to move and all those things, because at this level, those interior defensive linemen are good pass rushers.
Yeah, and you know how it is in the phone booth. Like, everybody wants to say this inside pass rush is tight quarters in a phone booth. Well, it is until it isn't. And that slide goes the other way. You're isolated with a whole bunch of space in the middle of the pocket, and the quarterback can feel that space. So if you get edged, you get initially beat one way or the other, and you can't recover and sustain, the quarterback's probably going to be feeling that, reacting, and getting the ball out of his hands. And are you truly getting the value out of your pass game at that point? Let's take a look at some of the run game snaps. Really good example right here, kind of a gun zone-based scheme. See him reach that outside hat placement right there, working in combination. This is, like I said, him at the guard spot, turning the corner right there on a simple zone play. But just examples of his athleticism. And then what's it going to look like when he is at the guard spot, when we've seen so much clips like this where he's in there at the tackle spot? Well, you just have to find, you got to complete your evaluation somehow. So the way I like to look at this, if he was playing guard right here, let's just make that our center, and there's our guard. I know that really is our tackle and guard right there, but watch him in combination, cross shove we call this. Bam! Right here, he ends up with a nice little down block right there from the tackle spot, and away we go. And there was actually another clip in this game where you saw him truly launch a guy across, climb to the second level. It was only a 3rd and 1, and for those watching at home, you go, hey, that was only a 1-yard gain right there. Why would they even talk about that clip? Talk about evaluation. That's what you have to do. We don't get to evaluate off box scores. We don't get to evaluate on, oh, this was an 8-yard run versus a 1-yard run. Sometimes what you need to see can be on some pretty ugly football clips, but you extract that out for the player and you know you're drafting yourself a really good football player.
And that was his first game at tackle against Penn State, Abdul Carter. I mean, that's a huge test. And Ryan Day credited that move, that his unselfish move to tackle, as a big reason why they won the national title.
So let's take a look at the offensive side again here. Tai Felton, really no bias around here. We drafted an offensive lineman. Felton was a guy that we had a lot of like. Keenan McCardle does a great job evaluating receivers, and really there's going to be some things that jump out on just a couple of these clips about what we brought here to what I think is one of the best receiver rooms in all of football. So as a play caller, Pete, you know this, if I could just throw a simple hitch route right there and get a 5-10 yard gain, I'm good with that. But how about making two guys miss and then the track meet starts from there? What do you think? You think this player right here is going to have an angle on him? Maybe it's a 30-40 yard gain. Not so fast, my friends. Look at him go down the sideline. And it's a just good old-fashioned standard. Call a quick game hitch route, and you're scoring a 70-yard touchdown. I know I would sign up for that as the play caller right there.
9 touchdowns his senior season, 8 in the red zone.
Yep.
Which to me is like great route runner. Got to be a great runner in the red zone, but that explosive play there, man, just get him the ball in space. Huh?
Yeah, and 4.37, 4.38, depending on who's holding the clock, who's holding the watch. I would say 4.37, but what I want to see with guys with vertical speed is I want to see the ability to track the football. So this ends up almost being, the defense jumps off sides right there. We have a free play. Quarterback's going to throw a ball that maybe he wouldn't normally throw with the safety that far off the hash and the corner right there, safety right there. Maybe he doesn't throw that normally, but we get a chance to see some rare ball skills right here because he's going to say, hey, I'm going to throw it to my guy. Watch the extension above the rim, go up and get the ball, extend, but then the catch transition at the top. That clip jumped out at me when I was evaluating. That's a 4.37 guy showing the ability to go up and get the football, track it. One of the things he does really well for a guy that goes down the field. I know it caught some people off guard here, even at rookie minicamp, the length this guy has. So he's not 6'5", but he plays big, plays long. And then we're always trying to find complementary pieces to Justin, to Jordan, to Jalen Naylor. And you're going to see just a very simple route. You're not going to see a lot of NFL pass concepts, but what you are looking for sometimes is transition routes. So watch him. He's going to basically do a little double up move inside and end up winning right here. And I think that's a good example. Let's watch it one more time. Just what we're trying to find from a hey, we're going to call choice routes. We're going to call different transition routes for him. But you got to find it. You got to see it in his body. Is he just a vertical threat? No. And then how about the fact that this guy very rarely gets tackled by the first defender in space, making people miss. Heck of a kick returner as well. See if he can return punts. We got all kinds of plans for this guy with the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, we know he can cover punts because he had 12 tackles on punt coverage in college, so he can play gunner.
We're not getting anything past you, man. We're not getting anything past you. Speaking of not getting past somebody, Ty Ingram-Dawkins, Brian Flores, as good as these film clips would have looked and do look for our fans, just know Brian Flores would have been tackling me the same way if we didn't get this guy. A guy that the defensive coaches just saw from his versatility. We're going to see him line up in a couple different spots right here. We really see him potentially playing over, we call this that 4-eye technique where you're slightly inside shade on the tackle. We see him playing end. We see him playing nose, 3 technique. Really fitting in with the stuff we did in free agency as well. We've seen this group kind of come together, but we were missing this really versatile piece. Take a look at it. So what do you see right here? You see a guy that's got length. I called him Baby Calais on his visit here because I see a guy with the lateral movement skills. Let's watch it one more time right here. Just kind of transitioning out of this thing, and you see a lot of just whiffing on guys attempting to block him, and he's a huge person. He's a big man with lateral athleticism, got these guys really excited. So there's a good look at him at the 4-eye position. Let's look at the next clip right here. Now he's out there at the defensive end location, and you're just gonna see just a good old-fashioned bull rush. You need this strength to pair with all the things that you want to do from an athleticism standpoint. Tackles in the NFL, he drew the holding call right there. If that guy doesn't hold, it's a clean sack. all day, every day of the week. So just a couple different variations of affecting the quarterback. Some of the best stuff he does is against the run early on, just unblockable at different times with his ability to get off of blocks and make plays. So let's take a look at this one. Watch him right there. See that, Pete? You probably missed it. It happened so fast. I know that left guard right there certainly didn't see it. Look at that inside move, and he's in the backfield. And Viking fans, if they've seen nothing else from Brian Flores and our scheme, we're going to move these D linemen. So you have to have the ability to line up in one gap, take another gap, get vertical, and can you then make the play?
47% of his tackles last year were for a loss.
Yeah.
And he's only 21 years old as well. So he's a young man, strong. There's a lot of potential, and you love that.
There's no doubt. And where he played, the Georgia D-line, we've seen guys impacting our league all over the place. You know, had he, maybe transferred somewhere else to get on the field faster? No, he worked his craft. He grew, he developed. We think the best football is ahead of this guy for sure. Speaking of really good football ahead, Kobe King, a guy we didn't think would be there when we ended up taking him, a guy that played a lot of football for a really, really good defense at Penn State, and he really demonstrates a lot of the core traits that we look for, but the starting point would be physicality. Boom, right there. Tight ends trying to pull and block him. His ability to get off blocks, navigate, assess what offensive schemes are being run against us will be a huge thing as he grows and develops at the inside linebacker spot. He clearly has the vertical speed. Here's what I want you to see right here. I'm a big fan of PJ and what he does. There's Max Brosmer of Minnesota Viking right there, but they're going to try to get him right here. They're going to try to sneak the speedster back out the back door and say, hey, we don't think this linebacker right here can run with him. But take a look at this. As he reacts and runs, look at him mirror and match, and then the ability to track that near hip, make a tackle for loss right there. We just saw him make a physical play in the box, and then to see him chase and run and put that thing down for a negative play. Not too far from here over on the campus of the Gophers there, making a play for a loss. I thought that was a big deal. A lot of love for Kobe in our building, and we hope to see him really hit the ground running.
Yeah, his physicality and tackling impressed me. He's almost an Ivan Pace 2.0.
Yeah.
Doesn't play the D-line as much as Ivan did in college.
Yeah.
But man, this kid can hit. He's
No
like
doubt.
a freight train.
No doubt. And then we couldn't finish up, the draft without finding ourselves another depth piece for Coach Angelico in that tight end room. We're really excited about Gavin Bartholomew, a guy that really played in 2 or 3 different kind of offensive systems at Pitt, former teammate of Jordan Addison before he went out to the beaches of California to go to USC. Jordan Addison loves this guy, really spoke highly of him as a teammate, a person, a player. But I wanted you to see his skill set today, Pete, because I think this guy's got vertical juice. Watch him really stretch the defense right here, track the ball, and then the catch transition, avoiding that first defender. You're talking about a 60-yard gain out of a 12 personnel kind of base down kind of play right there. Gavin's got length, he's got size, he can track the football, and that would probably be one of the things I love about him the most is his ability, just like this, to get down and attack the defense vertical, but it's not necessarily against safeties and corners all the time. These guys get chances right here. He's running a vertical. Where are you going to throw this thing if you're the quarterback? Well, you can see right there, total trust from this QB just to launch this ball right down the middle, Tampa 2 down in that red zone, and watch the way Gavin adjusts, catches it away from the frame of his body. Huge touchdown right there. So you see the speed, you see the ball tracking, you see the red zone threat with the size and length. And then the last thing we're going to watch right here is to play tight end in this offense, you got to be able to block. And we're always trying to find scheme plays that tie to some of the things we're going to ask them to do. And this right here doesn't get harder than this. Blocking a 6 technique defensive end right here, one-on-one on the backside of a zone play away. Watch this battle right here. Throws his hat inside, wins the hat placement, runs his feet, shows that length that you're trying to find. You don't just want to survive the down at tight end. When you can get an impactful player like Josh Oliver, who's been huge for us at the tight end position, you can start winning the line of scrimmage across the entire front and really give Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason some room to work.
Awesome, Coach. We cannot wait to see these guys. We'll see them in rookie camp. You got developmental camp, training camp, and then the season. So can't wait to see these guys in purple this year making huge plays for your Minnesota Vikings.